पर हम बात करेंगे आज. Today is going to be a very exciting game, CSK versus Lucknow Super Giants. So, welcoming two guests from joining us from Zimbabwe, and hey, they are supporting India. And now today, let us know to which team they are supporting. Brother, which team you are supporting today? Dhoni's Chennai Super Kings or KL Rahul's Lucknow Super Giants?
All right. In an earlier show, you know that I love MS Dhoni. But to keep things interesting, I'm going to find a reason.
Achha, why you love MS Dhoni?
Yeah?
Why you love MS Dhoni?
It's down, man. Like, you know, when you people, they have their helmets on and everything, but Dhoni, he just had something about him that, on top of being a great cricketer, he just had, I think, swag is the right word. He had that in spades.
So Dhoni has a swag. Okay, so he's supporting today's Dhoni CSK. Ma'am, you are supporting Lucknow Super Giants?
No. Okay, for the sake of the show, I will support LSG. But guys, let's not get it twisted. I love Chennai Super Kings and I love Dhoni, but because he chose Chennai Super Kings, I have no choice but to support LSG.
Oh, okay. You can support CSK. Okay. I'll look for reasons for LSG to do all. That's right.
Okay.
That's okay.
So he's now supporting LSG.
So he's sacrificing for you.
I'm sacrificing for you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. So yes, I'm definitely supporting Chennai today. And because yes, of course, the other goat in terms of cricket is obviously MS Dhoni. I mean, we saw what he's capable of last game. He had 24 balls. You know, he is. You know, in a later stage in life, you think, no, maybe someone is now tired, the form is gonna go away. But no, Dhoni is showing us age doesn't matter, guys. As long as I get the bid, I can give you anything.
They showed the younger captain what to do in situations like that.
Exactly. You know.
So, Achha, how you rate Rituraj captaincy?
How do I rate them?
Rituraj captaincy. He's leading the Chennai's side.
Oh yes. Doing well. I think what's great about Chennai right now, they're picking up a bit of a stride. And I think particularly in this situation coming up against Lucknow, which, like I said, I'm going to find reasons why I think they're going to do today. They're picking them up around about the best time that they could be. Winning 2 games in a row, whereas Lucknow, it's been like the reverse. And I think generally speaking, with the last game against the Mumbai Indians, the side which was a little tense. But you could say that I think he's done well, and I think it's now just about steadying the ship because we're getting to the business end of the season, and you need to keep climbing the table if you want to succeed in the postseason in the IPL.
So, same question to you: how you rate Rituraj captaincy, the ongoing IPL season?
You know, Gaikwad is more fortunate or lucky, just like Hardik Pandya is. You have Rohit Sharma as your shadow captain. I mean, everyone knows he's not the captain, but we know he is. So Gaikwad had the opportunity and the chance to have Dhoni as his shadow. So if you have someone who's that big, who understands the game, who has so much experience as your shadow, you know what to do, when to do what. Yesterday we saw when Mumbai Indians was in a tight situation, Hardik would run to Rohit and say, "Brother, what do we do?" So if you have someone like that in your midst, then your captaincy will improve better. I mean, if you were to put Shubman Gill in Gaikwad's shoes, we would say Shubman is a good captain. Yeah, because he has so much influence coming from behind in closed doors. They're giving him advice, do this. When you're in a tight situation, this is how you handle it. So, he gets to shine, but in the background, we understand that Dhoni has an influence with him. So I think he's a fortunate guy, the same way Hardik is very fortunate to learn from the very best in captaincy.
So last year, Chennai did the same thing. They announced the new captain.
Mm-hmm.
They had the shadow of Dhoni.
Exactly.
Then what happened in 2023 season?
You understand that maybe, yes, you might have a good captain and everything. And I mean, we are talking about Chennai, but I'll still make reference to Mumbai. They have the best batsmen in the league right now. If you're to check from number 1 to 5, you have power hitters, you have people representing India in the main team as part of Mumbai Indians, but they're still, not getting up to where we expect them to be. So it's the same with Chennai Kings. They had the good squad, good captain, good shadow captain, good background stuff. But it didn't go according to their plans. And it happens. It's a game of sport. If it was predictable, it wouldn't be fun, right?
Achha, in this season, both the teams struggling. If we talk about their top orders, they're not firing up the order. What is the reason?
It's I think there's certain things that have to kind of come your way on the day. I think the first situation can also be the condition of the pitch and how it plays to you in those types of situations. And I think perhaps maybe just if we're looking at statistics, maybe for just for today.
So this is the interesting stat coming up for you exclusively. Yes, bro.
Okay, fine. So for LSG, especially when they're playing at home, they usually prefer to bat first and then try to defend the target. So if we're looking at the last four games, in their last games against KKR actually won the toss, put them into bat, but KKR still came in and won the match by 8 wickets against Delhi. LSG they also elected to bat, but then Delhi beat them. Then those the last two games against Gujarat, they batted, they won, and against Punjab Kings they batted and they won. So little things like that can make all the difference here. Now, obviously, top order collapses are something that we've we've been witnessing in frequent frequency throughout the season. So I can't specifically pinpoint other than it's either conditions and it's also down to the individual. What kind of pressure is the individual under? The likes of Glenn Maxwell, goodness knows how much money he was paid for. Firing Hardik Pandya. I know I said we'll give Hardik 2 more games. I'm not convinced by last game, so I think I'm out on Hardik now. So I'm sorry to say. So yes, conditions, and I also think it's also to do with the individual and how are they dealing with it. Because it's at the end of the day, cricket, in as much as it's a team sport, when you're at the crease, it's you against that bowler. Your skill will determine how well you perform. And if you're not performing, then it's likely pressure or a combination of the conditions too. That's how I see it.
So if we look at the stats, brother, you suggest Lucknow to win the toss and ball first or bat first?
Well, based on their trajectory, when they would probably want to bat first. But I against CSK now, you're quite not sure. Like if you can put up kind of the type of total that you can easily defend against this team of such power hitters here. Because I think what we can say for them in any case now, should they win the toss, if I were them and if I was advising Lucknow, I would probably say try and put them in and then see if you can perhaps chase it. I know it goes contrary to how they want to do, but I think that would also perhaps mess up their plans. Perhaps they would have expected that as well. So I think I think it's also now depends as well as how much they limit them. Because look, if you get to the prediction sooner or later, but if you're telling me that you allow CSK to put close to 200 runs on the board, it's going to be very, very hard for you to catch up to that. So
Yes.
if they put them into to bat first, you have to restrict them, keep them at least about maximum 180 before it goes out.
So LSG supporter wants them to, ball first,
Mhm.
put Chennai to
Um,
bat first. Your take on this?
Well, in my thinking, when we look at the pitch and the conditions that the pitch has to offer, so it's a red soil, so it gives you a little bit of bounce and it favors pace more. And who's got better paces between the two of them? I mean, I can't take away the fact that Chennai has lethal spinners. I
Yes.
mean, Patarana has serious accuracy. Dikshana is the same. They have Jadu. Their spinners are peak performers. But then this pitch does not favor spinners, but pacers. So now if you're to contrast the two, I feel like Lucknow has a better chance if they are to bowl and put Chennai because they have a better chance of getting them out with the lower total. And besides, because of the fact that Lucknow's top order hasn't been performing. I mean, their average is 25
Yes.
runs in power play, which is very, very low, considering you're playing Chennai Super Kings
But
who can
similarly,
hit.
the Chennai is also not performing. Their top order is also not performing. Their average is almost similar to 27 only.
Well, in this case, the difference between the two is Lucknow's lower end are also not performing. Because in the lower end, if you have someone giving you 20 runs from 4 balls, then you're able to win a game, right? But then their averages is around 10 runs in the death overs or in the last remaining 4 overs, of which 10 runs is not enough because that's acceleration time. You're trying to push your score or lengthen it or stretch it to whatever score you can get. And with the lower order, you do not care if you lose a wicket. The point is to just work it for 6, for 4, whatever, to get a maximum. So in this case, Chennai has an upper hand because even if their top order is not performing quite well, the lower order is able to come in and give them 20 or 4 runs, unlike Lucknow. So if maybe Chennai were to bid first and they quickly dismiss the top order, seeing that they're not in form, then they do stand a chance in terms of winning, particularly if the lower end batsmen are in form and they bat well.
Okay, as you said, today's pitch is not going to favor spinners.
Yeah.
But there are reports Chennai might bring in Moeen Ali into the squad. So, do you think this is going to be a right decision?
Well, considering that Daryl Mitchell, who they normally substitute with Moeen Ali, is not in form right now, I think it's a very good decision, because if maybe Daryl was hitting maybe 50 of 20, we would ask to say no, but we need those 50 runs. Why are you taking him out? But if he's a walking wicket, then there's nothing that we can do. Moeen Ali is a better option, seeing that it's not favoring spinners particularly. Maybe he might come and introduce something which is different. And if you're to do matchups, I know he's supporting LSG and he's hoping that Poor Run has a very good run today. But if you're to put matchups, Poor Run has been dismissed 3 times in 5 by the Patirana instead. So now, if you're to do that matchup and your best batsman has been dismissed 3 times, but by our bowler from Chennai, so that means Lucknow stands a lesser chance of winning in this case.
All right, and I think you mentioned the fact that I'll be looking forward to Puran. Puran is obviously blossomed into come something of a what can we say, a life jacket, because you've seen perhaps the likes of Rahul, De Kock, and particularly Stoinis. They have been inconsistent and out of form, and Puran is kind of covering over those cracks. So I think what's key for me here, it's going to be particularly that opening partnership, the in the power plays, because you don't want to wait until Puran comes in against this team. I think you pretty much it's the nail on the head. The hit. They have to put runs on the board, and that's why I'm saying that I think with the targets in mind, I think having made put them into ball, then I think it can at least now give them a bit that sense of urgency and accountability. Because say they go in and bat first, and it's just business as usual. This match is going to be a very very long match for LSG fans. So I would say that for the key to this match, more than anything else, Rahul, Quinton de Kock, they've got to put runs on the board early, and they've got to keep them taking over. If failing to do that, like she said, particularly like you also pointed out that Moeen Ali is coming into this tie. Funny enough, he's in this particular tie between these two teams. He has taken the most wickets, 6 in total. So
Yes.
this actually might even be in a sense a game that favors CSK in that sense. So that's going to be a very interesting matchup to look out for. Can Moeen Ali perhaps have caused them problems in the same way that he's done in the past, or can LSG actually put up be able to chase a total that's gettable? So we'll see.
So, okay, my next question is about the fantasy 11. If you have to pick a player, a captaincy for your fantasy team, who would you pick today?
From these two teams.
Yes, the captain who gives you a lot of points.
It's
Any
either-
suggestion
it's-
for our
it's-
viewers who are
it's-
watching
it's
you
for,
live?
For me personally, putting team biases aside, it's between Sky and Puran. I'm trying to see which one I really want between the two.
So you
I'll go for Puran.
okay? So Nicholas Puran will be your captain in the
He'll be my
fantasy
captain for
squad.
the fantasy
Vice
squad.
captain?
Nice captain. I guess Sky. Sky? Yes. I think I'll go for Sky. I'll go for Sky.
Captain Shivman Dube. Do.
Shivam Dube,
Yeah, and then my vice will probably be Patirana.
Patirana.
Yeah, because he'll give you 3 wickets. He'll give you 4 wickets with the lesser economy, and then Shivman will come in and give you 50 runs of 18 balls. I'm hoping he's gonna do that so that I win. I win anyway. But yeah, Captain Shivman and Patirana will be my bowler and will be my vice captain in this case. Yeah.
We should actually play fantasy tonight. I think we should actually do that. And
We'll
then
give you feedback,
then
guys.
We'll give you feedback tomorrow and see how it goes. I think I'll like that.
So you might be getting the a hint. Who would you pick as your fantasy captain and vice captain? Okay, next question is: there is injury scare in Chennai squad.
Mhm.
Ajinkya Rahane is not well.
Yeah.
Already one player is out of the IPL squad. So do you think this will impact Chennai as a squad?
Um, I think that's the answer is yes, but then at the same time, with Chennai's aspirations,
If Ajinkya Rahane goes out, who will come in?
see, what's interesting is the fact that they've also even got a new bowler, haven't they? I think the one who's replaced who's going to be replacing the wicketkeeper, Mustafa Azhar, because I think Mustafa Azhar has got some commitments coming on. So I think just to add context to that, now you're bringing in a new bowler to replace him, and this bowler has not played in the IPL before. And then if he's also going to be out, and I don't know, however extended period of time, this does have the potential to derail them. There's no denying that they are. You never want to quite be in the middle of things.
Yes.
You want to be either at the very top or maybe a little on the lower end, and you know that okay, we've got issues to sort out in bowling and batting and so on and so forth. This case, there's certain issues that are beyond their control. There's injuries, there's player commitments. So to answer your question, yes, I think it will affect them, but it will now depend, I think, on perhaps the subs and how the personnel can perhaps react to that. It's going to be a massive contribution that they're going to be missing from him. I think we'll just have to see perhaps, because we're also waiting to see perhaps how the matchups are going to go tonight. So it's gonna be hard, but I think if you've got any serious aspirations to win IPL, you can't use that as an excuse necessarily. But sometimes that's just how cricket is. Sometimes I would say, I don't know.
So if I'm checking the win probability today's game, Chennai Super Kings 56% and Super Giants 44%. So anything you want to say? You support LSG? You are supporting
Like I
LSG?
said, I'm coming in as the white knight in this situation. I'm just looking for reasons why LSG can win. I won't change.
So do you think 44% is still okay?
Yeah, it's still okay. Because look, cricket is a game of fine margins. We saw that in last night's game. With Punjab and Mumbai. Kagiso Rabada hitting a six from from nowhere, and the match is looking like it's gonna be decided, and it was decided in the final over. So if those small margins, all it just takes is just one player to give either a decent knock with the bat or take a few wickets early on, and things can change. So I'm sticking to what I said before. You put the team into bat first, try restrict them low, and then hopefully the batters come to play in the game.
So one question for KL Rahul, I want to ask. Very important series for him. IPL T20 World Cup is coming. He certainly trying to score as many as runs with wicket keeping. He trying to impress the selectors as well. How important this series for KL Rahul?
I feel like it's very important and it's very crucial. But for his well-being and for his mental stability, I feel like he's not supposed to be thinking along those lines. Because the second you're thinking, I need to impress, you mess up.
Mhm.
Everything just goes central. I mean, we notice in daily life, if your boss comes up and you're not doing any serious work, you then start doing this and then you mess up a couple of things. But if you're calm and you do your things accordingly and peacefully, then maybe, just maybe, you stand a better chance of being mentally prepared for the game that you're about to face. So with him, I feel like not only does he have T20 pressure, he has pressure of competing with other people. Seeing that I've mentioned it, Carlton, a number of times to say K. Rahul is competing with 5 other people for wicket keeping.
Yes.
And he's competing with 10 other people who are in form in terms of betting. So if he is to think of that, then he's not even in the game. No, he's thinking, where can I work it for a six? Which boundary can I take? No, he's not looking for twos and ones and then a six when necessary. And you see, if you're overthinking, then you overthink your shots, and then you have a poor shot selection that leads to you being out for a duck, that leads you to being out in less than 20 runs. So I think for his mental health and for his stability in throughout the innings and as a captain and everything, he should just not think about T20 right now. He should think about taking his team over and above. And seeing that he's an opener, he's the captain, he has so much responsibility. He shouldn't even think about the responsibility. He should just see the team through. I mean, yesterday we saw two people, unexpected or expected rather, Ashutobash, and Shashank. Those are two people that you know can give you quite a number of runs. But did we see 68 coming from 30 runs? No, we did not. That wasn't, you know, that wasn't expected. But in terms of Rahul, we expect him to hit those numbers. We expect him to be hitting centuries even. But because he's not he's thinking about T20, he's not in this current game, then the numbers are not coming, the runs are not coming. So he shouldn't overthink this thing. He should just calm down and be in the moment.
Or to add to that, I think it's what's often said: let the game come to you, and you dictate how it goes from there. Because she's quite right. Because if you're looking at it, you've got the likes of Punt, you've got the likes of Samson as well. So many guys that if you now start thinking, oh no, Punt took 2 wickets, took 2 stumps yesterday. I have to now try and no. Just go and play your game. Now, I hope he doesn't play that well today against Lucknow, because I am going for Lucknow today. But she's right. I think he has to let the game come to him, and then I think the rest will follow. He's a top cricketer, and top cricketers always come to the party.
And also in terms of percentage, I feel like the first 5 overs will tell us. If Quinton de Kock and Rahul remain in the overs, it's disaster for Chennai. I'm supporting Chennai. But if those two men hit it maybe over 20 and continue, it's over for Chennai. That's the honest truth. So if we are to win or stand a chance in winning, those two people should not see the end of 5 overs, in short. That's all I can say.
So you can say, all right, I agree with you.
Okay, so you just said ki you want Lucknow to chase the target,
Mhm.
but there is one stat like out of 10 games played at this venue, only 3 encounters won by the team batting second. So
Yeah.
you still want Lucknow to ball first?
I think it also just depends on the opposition team. That's why, like I've said, ordinarily they would bat first. I think you rightfully put that out. But in my thinking, knowing who they're going up against and knowing the potential firepower that you're coming up against, you'd rather, at least in my opinion, limit that early on so that you give you a chance to at least see off a manageable target. Because if you go in and you bat first, then you better put something close to 200.
That's when we see 89 all out.
That's where you see 89 all out, and there's all of those
Yeah.
things. So I think still from a psychological perspective, I think you just got to play the team conditions as they were. But I think you play the team, and we'll see. I'm usually the stats guy. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I think that's the best case.
So you know the stats well and you know the players as well. Your prediction, if Chennai is going to bat first,
If Chennai bets
how much
first,
they are scoring today?
if Chennai bets first, and Mayank Yadav is not playing, then we can score 180 to 200.
180 to 200.
If Mayank Yadav is playing, it's a tricky one. We will be very lucky to get to 150. And I'm saying this because of the poor performance the top order has set. You understand, if the top order solidifies and maybe someone goes out in the 6th over, but we already have 65 runs on the board, you're not giving pressure to your number 3 and number 4 and number 5. Considering LSG does not have a number 3 right now, Deepak Huda, he's not been performing. He's their number 3. So he's a walking wicket, and we know if he comes in, he's not gonna stabilize and solidify that 65 run partnership that probably the opening would have set. So for Chennai, it's different. For Chennai, I feel like if Gaikwad is in really good form or he picks up his form, a game of cricket is a weird game. You can hit 100 and then go out for a duck the following match. It's very possible. We've seen it happening with Sky. But if today Mayank Yadav plays, we might have 150, 160, and that entirely depends on what the opening partnership says.
So, brother,
Okay,
we are going to chase today.
Yeah, I think so. I think if they bat first, if CSK bats first, then I think it will probably be crucial that they keep them to about 180. 180, I think, is the
Chaseable?
Yes. I think that's a chaseable target for them. Anything more than that, then I think it's going to be very it'll be difficult for them. And I think she mentioned Yadav over there. Now that would obviously be a big return. Obviously, we'll see once the team sheet comes out there. He'll make a world of difference. Obviously, I know we talked about it, and you expertly pointed out that he does have problems with his length here and there. But Jesus, he bowls like I don't know, like
150 is
150
consistently.
consistently.
Yeah.
And I think psychologically, as a batter, you that's hard to deal with. So I'd say if they put them in, they should at least, if they can limit them to 180, then I think this is a winnable game for Lucknow.
Okay, so you mentioned Mayank Yadav. Last season, Umran Malik grabbed the same spotlight of bowling dismiss of Page.
Mhm.
So, do you think Mayank Yadav or Umran Malik can make it to T20 World Cup squad?
This year?
Yes, this year.
No. This year is a very tricky year. I feel like we saw what Bumrah did yesterday. We know what he's capable of doing. So if you're to look at who you're replacing in the squad or who you're potentially going in as a substitute for, then you have to get like for like. Like wicket keeping. If we were to put Rishabh Pant out, we have Sanju Samson coming in. He will give you wickets and he will give you runs and he will keep with his whole life. So is Mayank Yadav like for like with maybe for the likes of Bumrah? Not yet. He still needs a bit of experience. He still needs to get his length right because he's got the good pace. He's got the exceptional pace that maybe other people like. I know my country, for crying out loud, Zimbabwe struggles with pace, but it's not only Zimbabwe. You have other countries struggling with pace. So him being in the team is quite crucial. But him being in the team with no form or consistently missing his length and everything, then it's questionable. But maybe if India handles it the same way CSK handled Padrana. I mean, last season we saw Padrana bowling maybe 5 wides and an over. But this time around, it has changed. They've managed to shift those wides into wickets. They've managed to shift those wides into the bowler's main weakness. So if maybe someone molds or shapes up his bowling and it becomes, that lethal force that India needs, then I think maybe next year he might stand a chance. As for this year, no, he's not yet there.
You want to add something?
It's like a sort of Indian cricket is the biggest. It's the biggest company insofar as cricket is concerned. And if you are young people and you know how it goes, and you're looking for a job, you come here, they'll say, no, we need 1 year or 2 years work experience. You don't have that work experience, and unfortunately, you're not senior enough for the role. And I think you hit the nail on the head there. The talent, yes, it's most definitely there. Has it been tested at that level? Those kinds of stakes. Never mind the fact that India is just coming off. It's a different format, obviously, but just lost in the final of another World Cup. You want to win this one again. You just want to win, and winning, unfortunately, experience really does count. So I don't think he'll make it. But I think this season his development is going to be crucial for him because obviously this is a future star without a question. Whether he makes it to this World Cup, it's another story, but I don't think so. I think the experience is just like a little bit.
Okay, so last question to you guys. LSG made it to the playoffs in the first two seasons. Do you think LSG is going to be in the playoffs this season as well?
Right now, it's quite tricky. It's quite tricky to say because where Lucknow finds themselves, they only net run rate is separating them. You know, you have Sunrisers there, you have Delhi Capitals picking up wins, you have Mumbai Indians picking up wins and picking up points. So you find yourself with a whole lot of people on 6 points. You find a whole lot of people on 4 points, and one win can separate. One win can determine who's going to make it and who's not. And seeing that we are somewhere in the middle of this whole round robin before the playoffs, if maybe their top order starts performing and they finally find the consistency that they're looking for and finally find a stable number three, because they currently do not have number three. They find a stable number three, top order performs, their bowling unit fires, they might find themselves in the top four. But my top four, this is a spoiler alert. Currently my top four will be Chennai Super Kings, Sunrisers, Royal Rajasthan Royals, and KKR. That's my That's my top four.
You need to add something.
I think I'll mostly agree with you, but I think in this case I'll just say they'll just have to take it a game at a time, and it starts with a game like this. If you're gonna want to make the playoffs, then you're gonna have to win this game. If you don't win this game, then I think that becomes very difficult for you to do. So that's my answer. Win this game, you might have a chance. You don't win, then I think it becomes a bit too much. I think that's it.
सो गाइज ये था आज का हमारा डिस्कशन एलएसजी वर्सेस सीएसके में। जो हमारी बातचीत हुई इसमें ये बताया, जो हमारे गेस्ट ने बताया कि देखिए, एक लखनऊ को सपोर्ट करता है और चेन्नई को सपोर्ट करता है, और लखनऊ को जो सपोर्ट कर रहा है वो ये कह रहा है कि पहले आप गेंदबाजी कीजिए, टॉस जीतिए, चेस कीजिए चेन्नई के सामने। बट जो मैम है वो ये कह रही है कि चेन्नई जो है स्कोर करती है अगर 180 200 तो चांसेस हैं जीतने के लिए, अगर मयंक यादव नहीं है टीम में तो देखिए, नेक टू नेक फाइट है। आज भी मैच बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग होने वाला है। लखनऊ का स्टेडियम है, थोड़ा सा पेसर्स को सपोर्ट करेगा, ये हमारे गेस्ट कह रहे हैं कि पेसर्स को सपोर्ट करती है ये पिच। तो देखते हैं आज ये मैच कहाँ पे जाता है। तब तक बने रहिएगा हमारे साथ cricket.com पे, हम तमाम वीडियोस और नए इंटरेस्टिंग कंटेंट के साथ आपके साथ बने रहेंगे। थैंक यू गाइस, थैंक यू फॉर वॉचिंग cricket.com।